What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about some great drills for quarterbacks to increase their arm strength. So we're going to be talking about each drill, explaining why it's important, give you the exact sets and reps of it, and be able to show you a full speed example to help you perform these drills. Now, fellas, this first drill is going to be called a straight jacket drill. So this is going to be working on your mechanical sequence as a quarterback to help you produce more torque, which is how quarterbacks get more arm strength, more velocity, and more distance on their throws. So we're going to explain what torque is, what you want to shoot for mechanically as a quarterback, and then explain how this drill actually applies to that. So you don't need a ball for this drill, you don't need a receiver for this drill. This is a very simple drill that you guys could literally do at your house, in your room even. You don't need really any space for this. So as a quarterback, how we generate power. The key is to have my hips be able to rotate through before my shoulders, before the ball, almost causing a whipping effect. This would be the same case for a deep ball, a short pass, wherever you need to improve your velocity or distance. So as a QB, where your base ultimately wants to start is you want to be in a position I called stacked. You want your head, your knee, and your foot on your back legs or your throwing side stacked on top of each other. Nice and light on your front foot. I'll tell guys 65-35 or even 70-30. You don't want to sit too low to where your knees past your toe, if you will, because then you won't be able to rotate. You want to be nice and tall and shift yourself back at your hip. So then what we want to do, it's a lot like hitting a baseball or hitting a golf club. That's ultimately, like, I guess, the kinetic chain that we're shooting for as a rotational athlete. So if I'm here and I stride to my receiver, I want to try to maintain that stacked position for a split second when the foot strikes. A lot of QBs, what they do is they push to try to create power, but when all your weight shifts forward, what you're not able to do is to delay your shoulders separate from your lower body. We call that dissociation. It's like a baseball swing. I'm in the batter's box, step to the pitcher, bat stays here, weight stays here, I pivot, hips fire, bat fires after the hips, and that helps the ball jump off your bat. Same thing as a quarterback, but a lot of times quarterbacks are very linear, so they can't separate their shoulders. They go here when all your weight's here, you can't rotate. Your hip, your knee, your foot are trailing behind you now, and the ball is ahead of your back hip. That's how we lose power, and that actually puts more pressure on your arm. That's why mechanics are important. So what we got to do is we got to step. When you step, you want your shoulders to rotate back slightly. This is what the straight jacket drill is going to work on here in a second. If your shoulders rotate back, then guess what you do? You start to rotate. Some guys like to pivot and leave it there. Some guys like to drag. Either of those is totally fine. On the jacket drill, you have to drag, and you'll see why in a second. But we have to make sure that my hips are beating the shoulders through, and that whip is how I get power. So how does the jacket drill help? It forces us to have to stay back, and it forces us to have to rotate my shoulders similar to how I would in a throwing sequence. So you're going to start out here. Perfect base, light on the front foot, hands are crossed, elbows tight to your rib cage. All you're doing is you're going to stride, rotate your shoulders back, keep that stacked position, keep your eyes forward, and then the hips bring the shoulders through. I would like you guys to drag through on this, because a lot of times when guys pivot, they stay back and they don't actually transfer their weight, because it is not just your hips, you also have to transfer your weight. So I'm going to show you how a couple of reps should look full speed. I recommend doing about 4 sets of 10 reps before any throwing workout. Now, fellas, before we show you that example full speed, if you are a quarterback watching this or even a receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps this offseason, you guys. These camps, fellas, will sell out probably 3 months in advance. Our first camp is in December, so we're looking at like end of September, October. The first camp will be sold out. So guys, make sure you take advantage of the fact that we have open spots. Reason why we limit spots, reason why we sell out is because we want to work with each of you individually, because that's how athletes develop. Nobody gets better at a camp where there's 1,000 people there. It's just let's go as fast as we can so everybody gets reps. That's not what we do. We take the time to correct you on each rep and actually improve your skills and give you the tools to do so. So our next camp, fellas, will be in San Francisco, California. Then we'll be heading out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina. Then we'll be heading out to Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Salt Lake City, Utah, Boston, Massachusetts, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some more information? Very first link in that description below. We'd love to have you there. Now fellas, this next drill is going to be called our no stride sequence drill to work on your hips, beating your shoulders on a deep ball. So we need to have a little bit of an arc of my shoulders on this, like I'm throwing a deep fade or a deep post, to get the most out of this drill. So what's one of the biggest mistakes QBs will make on a deep ball is they'll drop back, they'll hitch into it, and then what they do is they push off of this front foot, all of their weight shoots forward, and remember, that's not good, you guys, because when all my weight shoots forward to my front foot on the foot strike, can't delay my shoulders, and it's an arm throw, which makes this inconsistent. The ball can sometimes spin sideways, and just not have enough power on it, you guys. What we obviously want to do is we want to stride, keep your weight back, keep that foot under your armpit as long as possible so your shoulders can delay and the hips can beat the shoulders through. Only thing that changes on a deep ball is the angle in which I'm launching this thing. So that's what this drill works on. So you're going to start out, we're taking the front stride out of the equation so you get used to what this should feel like. So you're going to start out, foot's going to be open to whatever target you're throwing to, throwing the ball, let's say 30 yards away, right? Let's say that's like maybe, you know, not your max deep ball distance, but like 80%. All you're gonna do, weight's gonna be back, arc your shoulders, already go back with the ball. Then all we're gonna do to bring the football through is have your hips drive up, and then we shoot through. Taking the front stride out of the equation, getting you out of the habit of pushing forward, so when we actually throw, we're more comfortable staying back and then having my hips beat the shoulders through. So I recommend doing about 20 reps of this drill. Gonna show you how it should look full speed. Now fellas, this next drill is another drill that you don't need any receivers for, you don't need a football for. All you need is just a simple towel and maybe like a couple yards of space. You could do this in your room, at your house, in your backyard, whatever the case may be. So if you have just like a regular dish towel like this, you could do this with like a quarterback towel too. It'd probably be a little bit easier. But if you have a bigger towel like this, all I want you to do is to try to fold the towel and make it as thin as possible. And then you're gonna wrap your middle finger over the middle part of the towel like this, because you don't wanna grip the towel like a fist, because that's not how you throw a football, you guys. When you throw a football, you flick your wrist and extend, so you want to hold the towel similar to how you'd actually let go with the football to get the most out of it, because we're going to be throwing with this towel, simulating like I'm actually throwing with a football. But this is going to work on our hitch on a deep ball. So let's say, for example, I'm throwing a deep post off to the right, taking a 3-step drop, get to the top of my drop, I want to hitch up and then be able to throw. So what we ultimately want to do is when I get to the top of my drop, I want to have a little bit of weight loaded onto my front leg. When I have this weight on my front leg, I obviously don't want to stay there, because that's where a lot of guys struggle. They keep their weight forward, and then if their weight stays forward, they never get a chance to get their weight back, obviously, so they'll never be able to delay their shoulders. They'll just end up pushing the ball, and that ball's not going to come off with a lot of velocity. What we want to be able to do is the top of the drop, you don't want your feet to click together by any means. You want both feet moving at the same time, but you rock your weight back. So now I'm in this weight back position, so I can stay back, have my hips beat the shoulders, and that improves or increases the amount of torque that I have on my throws. So we're working on that momentum generating sequence, if you will. So you're doing 3 times, and then on the 3rd rep, you're gonna throw. So your weight's staying forward. All you're gonna do is you're gonna rock back, come back again, rock back a 2nd time, come back again, rock back a 3rd time, and then you're gonna throw on the 3rd rep. So this helps you hitching into like a deep dig, but more specifically, hitching into a deep ball. We're gonna show you how this should look full speed.